We're in this period between the nomination and the conventions, which is often the silly season. The vice presidential game seems to exist in part to fill the airwaves in this period where there's no actual news. Two sets of questions I want us to explore. Let's first talk about the vice presidential selection, what we all think of that, and then I want to see how we should deal with the silly season, or how we should tell voters out there, is it really going to be about dogs and what candidates said about cookies, or does a right-thinking voter have a better way to spend their time for the next 4 months? But let's start first with the Veep. What do you think?
I think you'd probably agree with me. If we could eliminate the word Veepstakes, that would be a great thing for the country, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Yeah. If you ask the Romney campaign, what kind of vice president he's going to pick, first of all, they don't say very much. But the second thing they say, it's someone that he can envision being president, which of course is the right answer. And of course, I think that's probably true. Romney's not going to pick someone who he can't envision taking over the office. And someone that, they also say someone that he's personally compatible with and feels comfortable with. I think that's also true. But I do think that Romney is someone that is a data guy. He crunches the numbers, and so I do think they're underselling for good reason the political calculation that he will also make. I mean, I have a really hard time accepting the premise that when push comes to shove in a tight race, Romney's not going to at least think, maybe this guy can deliver me this state. I know there's very rare circumstances throughout modern history where that's actually been the case. But I think from his business experience, he will make that his decision based in part on that. And so you can make a lot of different arguments for a lot of different people, but I think it will be in part at least a political calculation. In a race this close, one state can make all the difference. One demographic that he can boost by a percentage or two can make all the difference. So I think that's something to keep an eye on still.
What do you think?
I think with the Veepstakes, the people who know aren't talking, and the people who are talking don't know. So you need to keep that in mind. I think there's also a Sarah Palin effect this time. I think there'd be a reluctance to take a great leap of faith behind somebody who's unknown and pretty inexperienced in choosing. And I don't think that would kind of be Mitt Romney's kind of personal inclination in any case. But I certainly agree that there's a lot of politics in the calculation. And one thing you have to decide, do you go for demography, like do you go for somebody who can help you in Florida or Ohio, a state like that? Or do you go to reinforce your kind of personal narrative of competence and focus on the economy, which of course is what Bill Clinton did in choosing Al Gore, and that might lead you to somebody like a Rob Portman. Not the most exciting choice. Covering the Romney-Portman ticket might not be the dream of every political reporter, but maybe it reinforces that argument that here's a guy like me who's going to focus on the economy, knows what he's doing.
Where are you on this question?
I think it's a much smaller list when you actually get down to it. We sort of throw all these names out there, but it's really easy to eliminate people. It's harder to sort of put people back into the mix. One thing we can be absolutely sure, Susan's absolutely right about the Sarah Palin effect, and that will be the vetting. There is no question that someone of Mitt Romney's sort of business experience and background, I mean, that's basically what he used to do, just sort of go in and really look at companies and things. He's going to do this the Bain way, and that is going to be, I think for any VP possibles out there, it's going to be a very uncomfortable process. It's going to have to turn over everything, obviously. So I think that eliminates some people, frankly. I think we hear a lot of talking about Senator Marco Rubio from Florida in this town. You know what? Perhaps, but I think that the vetting of these things, that's going to hurt him. Yes, he could help in Florida politically, but I would be very surprised if the politics of potentially maybe winning Florida, we don't even know if that's a possibility, because that's going to come down to a sliver of votes. You have to pick someone for the bigger reason, and that they're not going to do something sort of problematic. One thing that's happening, the Romney campaign in Boston is watching all of their surrogates right now. Every time even John Thune goes out and makes a speech at the Colorado Republican Convention, people are monitoring it. Every interview Rob Portman gets, people are monitoring it. So they're sort of, it's a tryout phase a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, I think you're right about Rubio, and maybe we can just put the Rubio rumors to dead, if for no other reason than he's doing it. Rubio came out and said in an interview that he thought that the Arizona immigration law was not a model for the nation, which was a total contradiction of Mitt Romney's
Oh.
position, and given Mitt Romney's difficulty with Hispanics and on the immigration question, picking a vice president who is openly at odds with you on that specific issue, it probably seems like a bad idea.
I guess I would disagree with you, because what good might it do Mitt Romney to be able to edge away from these extreme positions he took on immigration in the primary? And maybe Marco Rubio helps him do that. I'm not saying that he's going to be the pick, but I don't think that's something that disqualifies him. I also think don't believe what anyone says when asked if they would take the job, because
Yes,
you know what,
that's the
they
first
would
rule.
take the job.
Right.